What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Paula Peralta Show. I'm your host, Paula Peralta, where we are chatting with all of my favorite people about basically whatever we want. So get into it. Today, I'm joined by someone that I feel like I've grown up in the industry with quite a bit and who has become, I would say, a brother to me, more like family than coworkers or associates. You know him as Popular Nobody. Welcome to the Paula Peralta Show, John Mosley.
What up? What up? What up?
I'm happy that you know exactly where your camera is already.
Oh yeah, you just look to the red light closest to you.
Totally. What's up, John? Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate the invite
Yeah.
to sit down and have this conversation with you.
Totally.
And just for the record, I don't know any questions that she's going to ask. So this is raw and organic, and I think that's what make our relationship so unique is that it's always been raw and organic.
Totally, for sure. I think it's funny because I think now twice I'm telling the story. I'm going to tell the story again, but one of the best memories that I have of us and like the blossoming of our friendship is like way back when Instagram first started to be a thing. And we would like sit on the phone and talk about like, what is this? How is it working? Like, how are we using it? And I've just watched your career like explode over like, it's been a while, but I would say especially like the past like 6, 7, 8 years, especially really like you using social media as a platform. And one of the things that I wanted to actually talk to you about was like, I think in the barbering world, in the Cosmo world, even people know Popular Nobody. Yeah. And I watched you build that brand.
Yeah.
And I would love if you're willing to like kind of talk a little bit about like what's your perspective on branding? Like how did you go about it? What were some of the key things? Like if I'm someone who, maybe feels like I don't have a brand or my brand's not that strong, like what are some key points to like building a brand that you've learned along the road?
That's a great question. So some of the key points for me was learning from others. You got to learn from others. Either you got to get a mentor or you just got to be very observant because sometimes people don't want to help. They want you to figure it out on your own and just be like, well, I had to figure it out.
Yeah, or they just gatekeep because they're afraid because they know that you're actually better than them and they don't want to give you a leg up.
That's a whole nother story.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll slow creep to that one. But so for me with branding, it was like building the Popular Nobody brand. One of the things that I feel like most of us don't do is keep our brand names, our company names true to who we are and our personality. Mm-hmm. So I think that's one of the biggest keys. It's always keeping that true to who you are and what you are because it's more of an organic growth. It's an organic thing to where it's like, yo, when people meet me, they're like, yeah, he is a Popular Nobody. I don't walk around and brag about my career, but when you go to Google, my career is on Google, and my accolades is what it is. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's number one, staying organic and staying true to who you are as a person so you don't have to build a character to actually make your success happen. Mm-hmm. And then the second thing I would say is not overexpending financially because sometimes a brand can never get off the ground because you're overspending. And I know you guys are probably thinking like, John, what is that? What do you mean by overspending? So when I first started, I was pumping out t-shirts. And I would come up with a black shirt with like different colors, like a Popular Nobody script. And then I jumped into making different kind of shirts. And then one day, one of my boys is in fashion and he was like, bro, you got to get people to understand the name. They got to be able to recognize the name. Mm. So then that's when I started thinking about brand recognition. And so once we started thinking brand recognition, I said, I got to scrap all these other shirts and only put a scripted font, Popular Nobody, on the shirt. Mm-hmm. And that's what I ran with. Because then other people started buying the shirts, and when they started buying it, they're like, oh, I know where you got that. So then it started creating a movement of people coming together, being happy about supporting this one brand. But that brought the brand recognition. So now, as you see it grow, I can now put Popular Nobody on whatever, and you know exactly who it is and where it came from. And so I think that was another big mistake that I see a lot of people making now. It's like you want to come out with all this merch, but you haven't got the brand recognition. You haven't got the brand awareness. So, everybody watching this, take your time and figuring out what is that one thing? What's that logo that's going to make it easy for you to push and get people to start identifying you by that logo? I think right now more people know me by Popular Nobody than my actual government name, And so I think that's the biggest thing, making sure you get brand recognition to be able to expand and grow it, but also getting with somebody or paying attention thoroughly to not make as many mistakes to succeed.
Yeah. I know. I love that because I think also people think brand and it doesn't have to be like this other name or this other entity as well. Because like your name is a brand, like Popular Nobody is a brand, John Mosley is a brand, Paula Peralta is a brand. And I think so often I see a lot of people trying to like hide behind their brand and wonder why it doesn't lift off. And like you were saying, Popular Nobody is John Mosley and John Mosley is Popular Nobody. You're not only Popular Nobody, but there's like, there is an umbrella kind of effect there. And I think so often like that thing about authenticity I've realized is so key. Like the more authentic like I've been willing to be and the more vulnerable I'm willing to kind of put myself, and by vulnerable I don't mean like here's all my like my woes, but like vulnerable, like willing to put myself out there.
Yeah.
Like the more people are like cheering that on and willing to receive it and feel connected to the brand of Paula Peralta. And I think that's so often like people try to go to like colors and fonts and like packages and all this stuff, and it's like no, like the brand works when you are willing to be your brand and when you're not trying to be something that you're not. Like, I mean, I think there are cases where there's exceptions, of course, to that rule. But generally speaking, what I've seen is the people that are the most successful are people that are just like, whether you're on stage as Popular Nobody or like in the streets as John Mosley, like it's the same. Like the energy, the vibe is the same. Yeah.
Are you going to catch me on stage in my hoochie daddy shorts? You're going to catch me on the streets in my hoochie daddy shorts. Like, it's no different. And I think that's what so many people get caught up in. They get caught up in making this character, but then what happened when a character doesn't have a role anymore?
Yeah.
Then who are you? Now you got to go back to being yourself. And you lost the identity of yourself because you picked up this character.
Totally.
And so for me, one thing my mom always told me, like going through this, was like, one, always make sure you have a home. And what I mean by that is like, yeah, we all want to do celebrities. I've been doing celebrities a lot, my whole career. But I never left the barbershop because I blew up doing celebrities. I always had that solid foundation of being there. But then she said also the most successful people are willing to tell their story. So I'm telling my story through Popular Nobody brand, but I'm also telling the same story as John Mosley because it's Popular Nobody, the person Popular Nobody is not a character. He's a CEO. That's what he is. He's a leader. He's a mentor. Now, if you flip it, John Mosley, the owner of Popular Nobody brand, is still the CEO, a leader, a mentor. So it's just, I'm simultaneously running and building the same brand off the same name, but I'm not afraid to tell my story. I think it's, like J. Cole said, it's beauty in the struggle, ugliness in the success. And you'll get to a point where you start feeling that ugliness because you are, being successful. And, I think we share those things. And I think that's why people connect so much with us, because we're not afraid to get on any platform and speak from the heart and tell the struggles that we had to go through and be open and honest, because we know we're leaders of this and we have people looking up to us, and we don't want to misguide them as that word influencer. We want to influence the right way.
For sure. So like what's been some of we talked about like the struggles and opening that, but like what's one of the struggles that you feel like you've faced as, John Mosley in the industry, out of the industry, Popular Nobody, that you feel like has shaped the leader that you are today?
I think one of the biggest struggles is that people perceive me a lot of different ways without even talking to me, without even breaking bread with me, not even wanting to take the time to talk to me. You just wanted to get the message of who John Mosley was from somebody else.
Yeah.
And you're not even giving me a fair shake, because you don't know my intentions, but I know yours now. Your intentions is to judge. And so I think that was probably one of the hardest things, is not reacting to what everybody else said I was. Because if I did, then I actually made myself look like what they said I was. And I think that was probably the biggest struggle, because it's like through frustration, I wanted to act out. Because it's like, damn, I'm not that. But even if I just gave that gesture right there, from afar away, somebody watching,
It looks like you are that.
I am that.
Yeah.
And so I think now people are starting to understand. He ain't nothing that anybody ever said about him. He's totally different, and I show it through my actions every damn day.
Yeah. And I think, like, you bring up a really good point because, like, and I think it's one for me being, like, a woman, being a woman of color, like, a woman of a certain age, like, all the things, like, the experience that I've had, it's like, when you, that thing about not reacting, like, that's so real because there's, I think, and tell me if you've experienced this as well, but it's not just the, like, I'm not that, but it's the also sometimes the, like, proving, the trying to prove the, oh, you think I'm like, whatever, I'll just say, like, you think I'm not a nice person, so I'm gonna try to bend over backwards to, like, do nice things for you, but, like, your judgment of me not being a nice person in the first place tells me that you can't receive me being a nice person anyway. You know what I mean? So it's, like, kind of both sides of that, I think, is, like, it's really tricky, and so it's so important to not buy into, like, other people's projections because they're always going to project something, like, whether it's out of jealousy, whether it's out of even, like, in the success and, like, they're happy for you, but then they feel like that means something for them. Like, there are so many sides to, like, the success that I think most people don't even really think about. And it's, I think you've handled it really well. And, I'm, this, like, I'm always a champion. So, like, I think
it taught me how to, it grew me.
Yeah,
It
sure.
grew me. It grew my patience. It grew my leadership. It grew a lot of things in me because I did want to react. I did want to react. I'm not even going to, everybody watching that know what you said, believe it. I spared you. Like, I did want to react. And some days I still want to react because I still got those feelings towards you. And I just choose to spare you because at the end of the day, like, you're totally wrong. And if I called you out on your wrong, then judgment is going to be placed on you by everybody you told lies to, you know? And so I always sit back and I just laugh because it's like, I now get the last laugh because you got to watch every day, whoever you are, you got to watch every day. You got to see this success every day. And I'm not only being successful for myself, but I'm being successful for everybody around me. And I'm bringing everybody with me that believed in me from day one.
Okay, so let's actually talk about that because it's funny, like, in thinking about this conversation today, I was like, I want to talk about that because for me, a lot of that is, like, cultural. And also, like, I think there's something else to it. And I'd love, like, I know I'm just springing this on you, but, like, what is that? Like, what's that thing? Because we know in the industry, out of the industry, just in life, there are those people that are like, listen, when I win, we all win. And then there's all the people that are like, I'm going to get mine. And so, like, what do you think is what's the difference there? Like, what creates that sort of mentality?
Your upbringing. It's definitely your upbringing. If you come from a family-based environment, your upbringing, you was around a lot of people all the time, so you keep a lot of people around you still to this day. Even though, you might say your circle got smaller, but the people that's in that circle, it could be a big circle, just, And so I think it's the upbringing, and it's also the mentality. When you see somebody that's fighting just as hard as you, and they're not getting the opportunity, but you're the person that could lead a way for an opportunity for them, I think you got to. Because you're not really a true friend if you don't look at them and say, yo, I got you. If I get in, we in.
Yeah.
Because, like, relationships, people always say, oh, relationships should be 50-50. No, that ain't it. Friendship is a relationship.
Yeah.
It ain't always 50-50. If you at 25% one day, I got to be 75 for Paula.
Yeah.
Even when we at shows, I'm always mentally checking you, like, you good. Because if you're not good, I'm going to pick up where you're not good at.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what it is. I think we as people got to get back to being human to each other.
Totally.
We got to get back to loving each other and supporting each other and not looking at this shit as a competition. If you really genuinely mess with that person, you're going to do whatever you can to help that person too. And that's just like how I look at it. I know other people might not view it that way. Like you said, you got that mentality sometimes where people like, I'm going to get mine and ha ha ha. I can't be that way.
And I can't overstate this enough. Like, if you're not right with you, like, it doesn't matter how much success you have. It doesn't matter what you achieve. It doesn't matter what accolades you have. Like, if if you don't get to that place where you actually truly believe that there's enough for everybody, like, you're always going to be in that lack mentality. You're always going to be in that fight. And I think that's like, for me, I got tired of fighting. Like, I got tired of having to prove that, even to myself, to prove that I was like worthwhile or valuable, or that like I was as skilled or as talented as someone else. And I think there's like a lot of reasons for that. But for me, it's like, the minute I realized, like, okay, I'm going to create space for me, and there's always going to be space for me, and there's always going to be space for everyone else. And like, they can choose it or they cannot choose it, but that's like not my business. And the minute like I actually chose that, like, it created this level of relaxation where now like I'm able to lead in a greater way as well, because I don't fear people's come up. Mm-hmm. Like, and that there are people, I mean, I would even argue that like in our dynamic, like there are places where you are dynamically more successful than I am, and more experienced, and you are more connected. And for me, like, if I hadn't done the work, like, that would be like a hindrance to me, but instead it's an invitation. And I think that's something I say to people a lot, is like, if you're looking around and you're feeling envy or you're feeling jealousy, I'll talk to all the cameras here. Like, if you're feeling envy, or if you're feeling jealousy, like, you need to check yourself, because that is about you. It's not about anybody else. It's not about what they are or are not accomplishing. Like, it is about your unwillingness to actually like know your magic, know your capacities, know your skills, your crafts, all of that. Because like, the minute you're good with you,
yeah,
you can have that if you win, we all win mentality.
And like I said, going through all the stuff that I've been through, that self growth, those self checks,
totally,
that has made me who I am. And that's why I'll give a damn who I put on. Because at the end of the day, I'm still going to go work.
Yeah.
I'm still going to go hunt. I'm still going to go do the things that I need to do for myself. I don't look at it like, if I give Paula opportunity, Paula got to give an opportunity back to me.
Yeah.
No, I gave Paula that opportunity because I felt like she was the best fit for that opportunity. But at the end of the day, I know if I give Paula this opportunity, she's going to win in there. I still look good. And I think that's one of the hurdles that a lot of people don't understand. Like, yo, you put other people in a position to make you look better. The connector is always going to look good if that person goes out and performs.
For sure.
And because we've been watching each other grow, I know your work ethic. I know Paula's going to show up and show out as if it was me. And so that's who I like to look after and say, yo, I know you're not going to cut my head off. And if you do cut my head off, cool. I ain't got to give you another opportunity. You burnt that bridge, not me.
Totally.
And so I think people got to get over the fear that if you see somebody that deserves that opportunity, put them in a position and let them go help make you look even better, because the work is going to come back twice now for both of you.
For sure. Like, yeah, it truly is like, when one of us wins, we all win. Like, it's just, there's no other way to say it. Like, it doesn't need to be said any other way. And like, I think I would be interested to hear like what you have to say about this, because I know we talk a lot about people that have a lack mentality, or that are in that like grind and hustle, but like don't ever really think they're going to get it. I don't know, like, how do you overcome that? Or how do you coach like your Popular Nobody team, or people that you're mentoring? Like, how do you help people work through that?
I first got to get them to understand your clock is your clock. Social media is everybody's clock.
Yeah.
You know, some people go to a car dealership, stand in front of the car, post a picture just so that they could look good on social media. So then while you sitting there, you're like, oh, that person just went and bought this whip. They're doing this, doing that. And it's like, yeah, but is that really theirs?
Yeah.
Do you really know? Like, and so for me, it's mental. You got to train your mental first. You got to be mentally strong and mentally ready to take on whatever coming, whatever you ask for. Like, think about it. We travel a lot. We do a lot of work. And sometimes we don't want to. We don't want to. We don't want 6 o'clock a.m. call times.
Yeah.
We don't but mentally, you got to self-evaluate and check yourself and be like, yo, I asked for this. Somebody want this. I got to get up and do this. And I think that's the hardest part first. You got to get over that mental hump. but then not worry about other people's time clock, worry about your time clock. And I use the analogy is that everybody got watches on. Yeah, your watch not. You might have an Apple Watch. I might have on a Movado today. I might have on a G-Shock tomorrow. Whatever. But at the end of the day, it's still a watch. It's still telling the same time. You just got to make your life tick inside of that watch. And I think so many people get caught up in doing that, but that's the mental aspect. You're not strong enough yet to handle what you're asking for. You're not prepared enough to handle that. And so for me, I think that's always how I try to train people first. We gotta break your mentality down, figure out where your weaknesses are. We build your weaknesses, and then you're ready to step in and execute. And then you start small. You don't jump right to the top. Like I think so many people, and Sebastian travel with me a lot, and so we always have these deep kind of conversations about like what we see and what we're doing, and you see people that sit back and they're like, they want to be Kendrick Lamar, but what about when he was K-Dot?
Yeah.
The person that nobody knew, the person that he believed he knew he was going to grow there. But until you know that you could get there, once you know you could get there, you'll stop thinking that you're already there. And then you'll accept the fact that you got to work from the ground level up and just take those baby steps.
Yep.
I still do stuff for free. Why? Because I'm trying to get into different spaces.
Yep.
So sometimes I don't mind doing something for free because I know my ability. I know my skill set. If you call me and say, John, can you do this for me and it ain't no pay? Yeah, I got you. Why? Because I'm going to make Paula look good and I know what I'm going to do. And so I don't think people realize that. They have to get that in them first in order to fight that mental battle of, I'm not where I want to be right now. I'm not where I want to be. Nobody is. Success is subjective. Like, we all want to be in different places, but when we look at ourselves in the mirror, are you happy with where you came from to where you at now? And then once you get there, are you happy with the trajectory of where you're headed? And if you're not, then you got to self-evaluate from where you're standing in that moment to shift things and see, like, what can you do different to find happiness on where you're headed.
Totally. I love that too, because for me, like, I really was like hustle hard, grind. Like I mean, it's still the reality. But what I will say is like, now there's kind of this like assuredness that what's meant for me isn't going to pass me by. Like it's going to come. And like you said, it might not be on someone else's clock. It might take someone 3 months to get there, and it might take me 3 years to get there. But that's the thing is, it's like when you're actually settled in that, like, and really rooted in the belief that like you're gonna get there, that timeline, like it just works out. And I always, like, I read something recently that just said like the universe isn't pressed about or stressed about your timeline, you're stressed and pressed about your timeline. Like, so if you just are confident in where it is that you want to go, like the timeline it's irrelevant.
Yeah, the finish line never moves.
Yeah.
We move. And sometimes we're on a track where it might be 100 meters, 200 meters. You might have hurdles. You might have cross country. Finish line stays where it's going to stay.
Yeah.
You have to figure out what race you running. And once you figure out what race you running, then you're okay with whatever comes.
Totally.
A hurdler don't worry about a hurdle.
Yeah.
Because he knows he got a hurdle in front of him.
And he's trained for it.
Right.
Or they.
Right.
Whoever.
But the training is here for us.
Yeah.
We know we got hurdles coming. Totally. We know we got hamstring pulls happening. We know we got bad feet because we walked a mile. Like, all of this is coming. So if you know it, why complain about it? Just get to it. Compete. Do what you got to do. And I think, like, that's one of the biggest things is people don't realize what's going to happen on their journey because they haven't sat back and thought their journey out. They just say, I want that.
Yeah.
But didn't think about everything in the middle of getting from where they're at with the thought to where they got to go execute.
Totally. And I think it's like, I really think you can't overstate enough. Like exactly what you said, like everybody wants to be Kendrick Lamar, but nobody wants to be K-Dot. Like it's that same thing. Like everybody wants to be popular. Nobody, the established brand, like the known brand, all of that. But like nobody wants to be John Mosley trying to figure out this thing called Instagram or trying to like, work with people that maybe aren't loyal or, that don't respect the brand or whatever that is, like, you gotta, that's a part of the journey, is like that growth and that struggle and that learning and adapting is such a huge part of it. So I love that you said that.
Everything looks sweet on the internet. But watch out, that sweet shit do give you diabetes.
For real, make you sick.
You trying to eat too much of it.
Yeah.
So it's like, yo, just be cool in your position, be cool of where you at, and know that you got to bet and believe on yourself 100 times fold, because ain't nobody else gonna do it for you. If you can't believe in you, how do you even exude the confidence to make somebody say, I want to work with that person?
Yeah.
I walk in every room confident. I might be quiet, but don't take my quietness as a weakness. Like, I'm very strong. I just choose to play my role. And I think that's another thing people don't realize. Like, yeah, I might be a leader, and I might show leadership in a lot of different ways, but the best leader is the most amazing follower. So we just did a job where my sister Paula is the lead. I don't tell Paula what to do. I just be her backbone, and I turn around and say, okay, where can I step up and help Paula, or where can I help anybody? If you number one, I'm number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, wherever you need me. But if you need me to be 1.5, then I'm gonna be 1.5. But your job is to be 1, and my job is to strengthen my 1. That's how I always walk into every situation. And I think for so long, everybody always thought I only wanted to be 1. I don't give a damn. 1 come with a lot of pressure. I'd rather be 1.5, and if I have to be 1, I damn sure could step into 1's role.
For sure, yeah.
But I'm a team player. And I'm gonna always have that mentality first. When people ask me, like, John, what are you here for? I'm here to be a Swiss Army knife. If you need the screwdriver, I'm the screwdriver. If you need the nail clip, I'm the nail clip. Like, I'm whatever that person needs from me as the leader. When you ask it for him, I gotta do it for you.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, like, it's interesting to hear your perspective on that, because my perspective is like, yes, I'm the lead, but I also choose 1s to be around me. Because then I know, like, okay, here's the target, right? Like, we know where the goal is, and I know where everyone's strengths are, so I can make sure that we've got a team that's just gonna kill it. And I don't have to micromanage. I don't have to tell everybody step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. I just say, hey, this is where we got to get to. Like, how do you see yourself contributing to us getting there? And I think that's, like, again, going back to that conversation of, like, when you don't know you, and when you don't know how to just do you and be authentic and know what you bring to the table, like, it's almost impossible for you to, like, run with the big dogs. Like, that's just the reality. Like, you've got to do the work to get yourself to a place so that when someone is in a position of leadership, they can say, like, yeah, I want John Mosley, because I know that if John Mosley's here, no matter what happens, I'm good. It's handled. We're going to get there. We're going to make it there. And I think we've both been in situations with people who, like, saw the value in being number 1, not necessarily the value in being one of the number 1s that's all moving towards a certain goal. And it sounds, I feel like if you haven't experienced it, it might not make sense, but, like, when you've experienced it, you know the difference between the people who are really great at what they do and the people who are really great at what they do and also strong leaders.
Yeah.
Like, because I love what you said about how strong leaders are also some of the best followers. Because when you're confident and you know what you know, you don't have to prove anything. You don't have to prove anything. You can just show up and contribute in the ways that you can contribute. And again, when you win, everybody wins. When everybody else wins, you win.
Yeah, I definitely show up with, like, I know who I am.
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
You need me to jump on stage? Come on, I'm ready anytime. But if you don't want me to jump on stage, well, then let me stand back here and help organize something. Like, and I think that's what most people don't do. They don't do well with being told that, hey, today not your day. It's just like, and I think also, too, that comes from sports. I played sports my whole life.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like a sports mentality. Like, if Paula got hot shooting jump shots, guess what John got to do? Pass the ball to Paula, because she's hot. She's going to get us to the victory. But now if Paula bricking, the other number 1 that is on the team got to come to Paula and be like, hey, listen, tonight not your night. Who else do you think You could count on me, but who else do you think we can count on to make this work? And if you see it in sports, like, why do you think all teams are now trying to get, especially in NBA, they're trying to load up 3 superstars because on every other night somebody got to take off.
Yeah.
And that's what I think we're transitioning to the world of collaboration. Mm-hmm. That word collaboration has opened the door for people to work together that are ones in their respective fields of what they do, but they also now are they follow each other and they become a strong dynamic duo in the collaboration because they're not coming to the table with egos. They're coming to each other with open minds and saying, let's work together.
Totally.
How can we make this better?
Yep.
So.
And I think, like, I love this too, because I think this within this thing about, like, knowing what you know and knowing that you lead and knowing that you're strong at what you do, like, it doesn't mean that there aren't moments where you're like, ooh, how do I navigate this? Or like, ooh, like, I don't know, like, if this is quite, like, sometimes you do need a pep talk. Like, I even called John the other day and I was just like, he's like, what's up? And I said, listen, I just need a pep talk. Like, I know this is good. I know the messaging's solid. I know what I know, but like, I just need someone to tell me that, like, to just go, pull the trigger, don't think about it, just jump. And so I think that's like something I definitely want to reiterate in this conversation is that, like, even when you are used to running with the big dogs, and even when you know what you know, sometimes you have those moments that, like, you just need to phone a friend.
You second guess yourself.
Yeah.
You second guess yourself. And I think the reason why so many people, speaking of you watching this, the reason why you second guessing yourself is because so often you have been told you couldn't. And because you've been told you couldn't, when you know you can and you're for sure you can, that 1% of you can't, you shouldn't, or you're not good enough pops into people's perspective. And then they're like, that's what overshadows the you can. Mm-hmm. And so for me, like, I don't care what somebody thinks. Like, yeah, I can. And if I can't, I got the people around me that can.
I know somebody.
Yeah, I'm a phone a friend.
Totally.
Yo, I need help.
Yeah.
I was just having a conversation with one of my boys, Taurus, and he was telling me about a conversation he had with his pops. And he was like, his weakness was asking for help, like so many black men.
Yeah.
We feel like we're less than if we ask for help. And I told him, I said, yo, I'm your big bro, dog. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. For a long time, I used to be that same guy that you just told me you are. Mm-hmm. I said, but then I had to trick my mind and understand, like, no, my superhero power is asking for help. Mm-hmm. I said, because that tells me I'm stronger than anybody in the world because I put everything to the side to say, I don't know nothing. Mm-hmm. Come help me. I said, and even if I do know, you know it and you could get it done faster, so that saves us 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. Let's go be great, bro. You gave me 10 minutes back. But I'm okay with asking for help. Yeah. And I think so many of us, you watching this, I'm going to keep saying this directly to you. You have to be okay with phoning a friend. You have to be okay with asking for help. And you got to be okay submitting to distraction and everything. Just submit. And just be like, you know what? I know you're trying to destroy what I'm doing, but I'm not going to let you. Mm-hmm. So just by submitting those words out, saying I'm not going to let it happen, you submitted to it by saying, I acknowledge you, but I'm stronger than the acknowledgement that I'm giving you. Mm-hmm.
Have you always been that way?
Hell nah. I used to submit to everything.
And so what was was there like a lightning bolt moment? Was there like a switch that flipped? Was it just like over time with experience? Like what changed?
Maturity. Mm-hmm. Maturity. Understanding where I wanted to go and what I was asking for. Yeah. Understanding that my talent, I'm very talented, but I had to change some character things. Mm-hmm. And part of that was not reacting, and just sitting back and understanding. Like, I had a conversation with my sister I was a teenager or a little bit older. And she told me one day, I used to have a problem with saying, I know. You could say something like, oh, I know. Mm-hmm. And I was just doing it. Mm-hmm. And she grabbed me one day. My sister Lily grabbed me and was like, boy, if you knew, we wouldn't be having this conversation. And I was like, damn.
Mm.
So that was one of those things. I take life experiences that I remember certain things, and that's like one of those ones that was big, because it's like, you're right, I don't know it all. I don't know everything. So I'm going to shut the hell up, and I'm going to receive what everybody's telling me and Brita filter it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to keep the good water and let all the other stuff go behind. And I think that was part of my growth. It's starting to look at my life as a filter. Take in what I need, but I got to pour all of it into here first in order to receive it. And I think that has helped me, because I definitely wasn't like that. It's over time you get this.
I love that. And so also, like, on the heels of that, I mean, I've been around you for years now, and I think to some degree I can relate to this, but like, you know that thing where like everyone looks to you for the answers?
Yes.
Like, how do you navigate that pressure? Like, I mean, I know you said the thing, like, being willing to say that you don't know it all, but because for me and from my perspective, let me just, like, give a little bit more kind of backstory here. For me, there is this, like, kind of otherworldliness about the way that you walk through the world. Like, I watch people be like, well, that's John Mosley, or, oh, that's Popular Nobody. And there is this, like, projection of, like, you've got it all together, like, your vision is clear, like you don't make no mistakes, you get it right the first time all the time. And like, in a lot of ways that is true. Like, your vision is clear, and like there is, like, what you know, and you go. And also, like, how do you navigate that part where you're just like, no, I actually don't know it all. Like, I don't have it all together. Or like, how do you, I don't know if that makes sense, but like how do you navigate that?
I think the biggest thing for me was putting an idea team around me.
Mm.
You know, I have an idea team. I have a collective of people that are strong in their fields. So when it looks like I got it all together, when it looks like I got the right answers, it's because my team gave me the answers. I executed the answer.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why when people ask me, I always shout out my team. Because I'm not anybody. I'm not the guy that people whispering about when he walked past. I'm not him. If I don't ever pay homage to the people I keep around me.
Yeah.
You know, like, just talking about social media. Yeah, you see me posting this stuff, but what you don't see is the brains that come along with me posting this stuff, which is Sebas.
Yeah. Which, by the way, you probably know this, or if this is the first episode you ever watched, Sebas produces actually the Paula Peralta show. And he travels and works quite a bit with John Mosley. He's brilliant. And
he produces the Popular Nobody stuff as
well.
Like the Apex podcast. Not Apex, the Atlas podcast, and, you know, the new podcast that I'm putting out. But yeah, like, I don't understand. I don't think people realize you can't do it all. So you got to pay to play.
Yeah.
But in the part of where you're paying, just because you're paying somebody don't mean you don't listen to them. Don't mean that they got to listen to you. I pay Sebas, but I sit back with Sebas and say, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. I trust your vision. This is your field. And I think, for me, that's what makes it look that way. So get an idea team around you. Get friends and people that you trust. You don't need a lot of them. You just need a few that you can actually call and talk to and help develop, because they're going to minimize your mistakes.
Yep.
And when you do that, it makes it look like you're running smooth. It's the old school swan effect. Underwater, our feet are goddamn swimming. But on top, we just like
cruising.
We gliding.
Yeah.
But underneath is where all that happens. So that underneath stuff happens in the hotel rooms.
Yeah.
That underneath stuff, like, and we prepare as a team. We know every situation we're going to. We know what we're trying to execute. We know how we're going to execute it. But we also know if we execute at the level that we know we can function at, if we're all great, because we have clear-cut clarity communication amongst each other, it's going to look like that every time. And because of bringing Sebas on and because of bringing Justin on, my photos look better. My sound quality look better. My lighting looks great. I look great. But in return, it's them that make me look like I'm running so smooth. Totally. And not even just that, like in the personal side of it, like all the other people that's not with the Instagram and stuff like that. And, you know, how just take care of the crib. You know what I mean? Like, if I had chaos at the crib, I couldn't be who I was.
Right.
If my son wasn't texting me while I'm on the road, just saying, "Hey, Dad, how you doing? Just checking on you, love you," I wouldn't. My daughter called me every day around the same time on her way to work and just talk to me while she's on her way to work, and then she gets pissed off when I don't answer. But at least I know the consistency of my kids wanting to be around me, wanting to talk to me, the team wanting to be around me. That lets me know I'm doing the right thing as a leader. So I'm going to continue to always listen to my team because they're the ones making me feel great and look great and move great.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think thanks for sharing that, because the other thing too that I've realized, especially coming off of the last event that we're at, is that you got to pay attention to the people that want to be around you. It's so easy to listen to the haters. It's so easy to doom scroll the negative comments. It's so easy to there can be, a chorus of voices saying, "Thank you so much for your leadership. This was amazing. I'm so happy." And then there's always that one voice that is it was all right or whatever, or worse. Usually they're saying "No, I don't think that, you'll never work in this town again." But I think it's, yeah, seriously, at this point, yes. But it's so easy to fixate on that one voice or that one negative bit of feedback. Whereas it's exactly what you just said. When you're actually focusing and fixating on the people that are grateful for your leadership, the people whose lives were changed, or they learned something new, or they feel like their craft is elevated, that's why we do what we do. And that's actually what elevates the industry. And that's the win. When we say, when you win, we all win. Those are the wins that you have to focus on, because it's so easy to get pulled into the here's what didn't work. Here's what, that footage didn't work, or that photo looks terrible, or whatever that is. And I think that's also too something I've learned, working with Sebastian, is the willingness to kind of experiment and just be we don't know what's going to show up. We're going to try this. And there might be one thing that comes out of it that we're that was amazing. And the next time, let's make sure to incorporate something like that. But it's also that willingness to fail. And interestingly enough, when you are willing to fail, I find that you almost never do. No. If you're not tied to the result, it's the results are always better than you could have possibly planned for.
Yeah. And you know what, too? You said it, and I don't think you realize you said it this way, but we pay so much attention to the negative. Mm-hmm. The negative, you might have put up a post and it might have, 50,000 views and 3,000 comments, and then you find that one comment out of all 3,000. Totally. You find that I one. And you harp on that one person view of what happened in that video. Totally. But you never understand, celebrate the 2,999 people that agree with you. Yeah. That person, if we were scaling on a 100% scale, that one negative comment wouldn't even register. Totally. And I think even in business, companies pay attention to that one bad Google review. Mm-hmm. And you're trying to make that one person happy. What the hell? What about the whole other side of that? Yeah. That all these people love what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Why don't you just focus on that? Yep. You're going to always have people that don't like you. But the people that do like you, those are your customers. Mm-hmm. Totally. And that's how I look at, that's how I look at things now. Yep. I don't pay, I laugh at the 1% mm-hmm. that might be oh, that sucked. And cool, bro. I'm going to go look at your page. Yeah. Because I can tell you a lot of things that look bad on you. So it's I don't want to focus on that. Yeah. I want to focus and celebrate and repost and reshare the positive stuff that people saying in support. And I see Paula's taking a break. So, hey, shout out to Coca-Cola, future sponsor of Paula Peralta, podcast. So, yeah, shout out Coke. Seriously. Could you imagine next season, Coke, the Paula Peralta show? Look, Coke, I'm speaking to you now. My sis need a deal. Holla at me. I'm here for it. I love it. Yeah, we gotta take our time and let Coke know we here. Right. I did it with the Omni. You did? Yeah, we was filming in the lobby of the Omni. We had filmed a whole podcast, then come back and we was doing our second or third one, and they came up and was like, "You can't film here." We was like, "Yo, y'all just watch this do one." So in the midst of the podcast, I'm like, "Yeah, shout out to the Omni. We love the space. We would love to film here, but you guys kicking us out right now." Yeah.
Did they reach out? Has that episode published yet?
Not yet, but it's coming. Omni. Fort Worth, Texas. See y'all soon.
I love it so much. Okay, so one of the things that I was actually really looking forward to talking to you about is we talked a little bit about Popular Nobody, like kind of the brand, the personality of it. But one of the things that I've noticed too is that anytime, like, you have this charisma and sort of this like charm that just makes people fall in love with you. And it's funny because even like it happened recently when we were in Chicago with Vagaro, right? I was like, hey, can you come? Will you speak on this panel with me? And you were like, yeah, for sure. So we had this panel and, you know, obviously people loved it. The audience was there and it was great. Like we were vibing kind of like this. And I just noticed afterwards they were just like, we need John Mosley. Like we need him. And I mean, I had been saying it, to be honest, and was like, yeah, you do. Like, you know, and come with it. Like, come correct if you're going to push him about. Yeah. Like, but I think what, like, you for me is definitely someone who's like, I look up to a lot in terms of networking because you're always, like, you're building relationships and people just absolutely fall in love. And then it's like, the world is your oyster. Like, what is there something beyond, I already know what's initially going to come out, but then once we get past that, like what is that for you? Like, how important is networking something that you like really worked on and like developed as a skill? Is it something you've always been great at? Like, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to the Vagaro plug. I'm a family member now.
Yeah, it's true, right?
Yeah.
And also, for those of you that don't know, here we go. Here's a little commercial break for you. So there's a show coming up in September, 24th and 25th in San Diego, and it's called Iconic 23. And John, actually, I know because I'm facilitating one of the panels that you're going to be on. So there are multiple panels. There's tons of education speakers. We had Venus Williams last year, which was really cool. And so there's just like a lot of really cool entrepreneurs. This year is Jeannie Mai, who Noogie won an Emmy doing her hair on the reel. But Iconic 23 is happening. So if you go to vagaro.com/pro/Paula, you can actually get your ticket to Iconic 23, and there's like a discount code and all this stuff. So make sure you check it out. Whatever, on your phone, click the link in the comments. I'm sure Sebas will take care of that. Or if you're listening to this now, make sure you head over to vagaro.com/pro/Paula. So yeah,
it's gonna be somewhere down here.
Yeah.
Right here. Say bye. So if you're watching, it's got to go right here across this way.
This is the moment. So yeah, I mean, I think, and honestly, I know we just kind of did that like shameless plug, but like for real, Vagaro was like a perfect example of that, where like, I think you talked about how, like, you know, if you put someone in a position, they're going to run with it. I knew bringing you to the table, it was an easy choice for me because I knew that you had a skill set and a charisma and a voice and an experience that they would benefit from. Mm-hmm. So, and then it just happens that they, you know, want to celebrate you and pay you and have you come play. And, but let's talk about this networking thing, like, independently, because I see it all the time. I'm like, damn, John knows everybody. So, like, what is that? Have you always been great at networking? Let's start there.
So networking was one of my, I'll talk to anybody. Mm-hmm. So if that's networking, that's networking. Mm-hmm. But I don't waste my time in networking. I don't go to the industry parties. I go to where the business meetings happen, hotel lobbies. I'm going to network in those spaces because those are the people that think like me. Mm-hmm. They're not there for the party. They're here for the conversation, collaboration, let's grow together. And so I don't waste my energy on conversations that I know that ain't going to get us nowhere. Mm-hmm. We got to go. So let's get to those kind of conversations and let's go to those type of people. And so I think that's why my network is so strong. Mm-hmm. Is because I know who to talk to, how to talk to them, and when to talk to them. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a skill set that you learn over time. You sit back and analyze people. You watch them. Yeah, I might not be the best with names, but if I talk to you enough, I'll remember your name. And if the conversation was valuable enough, I'm going to remember your name. But the way my brain works, first I'm going to store where I met you, who you work for, when I met you. That's all I need to know. Mm-hmm. And then once I get that, then as the relationship builds and trust goes, then it starts to stockpile. And I think networking for me is just that. It's more or less talking to the right people. And you might not be the decision maker, but you're the person that took interest to me. Mm-hmm. So because you took interest to me, you're going to go tell people this person is someone we might need to talk to.
Totally.
And that's the key to networking for me. Finding the person that takes interest, because everybody's busy. So whoever give you that interest is the person that got time for you.
Yep.
And that's how I network. And yeah, and then once I get in, I know how hard I'm willing to work. Mm-hmm. I'm going to outwork whoever is around. Mm-hmm. And I don't mind. And then if I can't outwork them, my team, we will outwork whoever's around.
Everybody.
What? I don't care who you put in front of us. We're going to outwork y'all.
Yeah.
And so coming in with, you come in with a 10-cent value, but put up $100 effort. Mm-hmm. Then people don't know you. They don't.
That's real. I feel like you need to say that one more time.
And you walk into situations with 10-cent value because they're like, oh, we'll give this person a shot. Mm-hmm. But then you show up with $100 effort, energy, passion, love, and all of that. Your effort goes up and your execution goes up. And now you just added, think about it. They invested 10 cents. So I don't never work for the year that I'm working for. Mm-hmm. I'm working for the years ahead. I don't want to sign a contract and be one and done. I want to sign a contract and say, I value you, you value me. I'm going to work this hard for you, and I'm going to do these things for you, and let's go. And when you show that through networking and through you, once again, make that person that brought you to the table look good, but then you also made yourself, your team, because then it's quite naturally, they're like, well, John, how did you execute all of this? Mm-hmm. Well, these are the people that helped me. Yep. So now guess what? I'm opening up opportunity for those people around me. Mm-hmm. And shout out to you for putting me in a space to be able to talk to Vagaro. And funny, at first they were like, oh, we don't have a budget, it's over, da. And through them seeing me speak, yep, and me executing, and I wasn't getting paid, but I turned 5 barbers into Vagaro customers that day. That shows value. Mm-hmm. Don't always think the check got to come before the work. Yep. Put the work in to get the check that you want. And even this, so many people turn down opportunities and they turn down money because they want the goddamn house. Yep. No. If you take your mindset and look at it and say, well, this company can't buy the house, but they could buy the drapes. Mm-hmm. They could buy a couch. They could buy a stove. Start thinking that way. Mm-hmm. Now, people be like, damn, John, you work for everybody. Because everybody got a value in my house. Yeah. And I think that's the mindset that some people got to take. Mm-hmm. Don't think you too big to work. I won NAHA, but I'm still willing to get down low end. Because the dollar amount is still a dollar amount. Yeah. But always, I'm going to tell you this, don't get it confused. Don't let the dollar amount, the work ethic be higher than the dollar amount for too long. Mm-hmm. Because people can, if they can value you at cheap and keep you at a cheap rate, but you over exceeding the expectation, then they're going to only give you a little bit more because they're like, oh, if we give them this much, they'll be even happier and they're going to give us that much more. Mm-hmm. Nah, I'm going to give you this much more. And I expect that 10 cents to turn into $100. Mm-hmm. And if it don't, I'm out. Yeah. It's just what it is. I'm not gonna be fooled. Totally. And I think that's the mindset that I have is that, yeah, I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna show out, I'm gonna accept the curtains that you're willing to buy, and I'm gonna work towards you being able to call me and say, you know what, John, we do want to get you that house. Mm-hmm. But I'm not gonna expect that house. Yeah. And I think that's how I network, that's how I build, that's how I work, and that's just always been my mentality. I'm not greedy. I don't have to take from one company. I'm going to take from many companies because every company that I work with all do different things. I'll just line it up good.
Literally and figuratively.
Shout out, Coke.
I love it. Okay, so what is one piece of advice that you'd give to your younger self?
One advice that I give to my younger self, man, learn more. Learn more. Be more open. Watch your attitude. Watch your mouth. I know you asked for one, but I can give you a whole list.
Like a whole list.
I give you a whole list of me.
I love it. Okay.
But yeah, all of that,
That's
same
good.
stuff.
Yeah.
Same stuff that everybody probably self-check on.
Right. For real. Okay, so one part that we'd like to do in the episodes is like a quick fire, just like little get to know you, quick and dirty question and answer.
Uh-oh.
Don't worry, it's nothing sad.
I'm gonna be honest.
Okay, perfect. So what's your like okay, I'm not gonna lead with this one. What's like, so when you're not working, what are you doing?
Smoking weed.
Okay.
Nah. Well, I am smoking weed, but I'm being productive. Yeah. Like, that's typically my time to think and like formulate what next moves I want to do, and just preparing for the next steps.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people take that for granted, but for me, it's always like when I have downtime, like I want to relax, but then after I relax and come back to, that gives me clear vision and clear thought. And so I sit down and conversate with my family a lot because they're the ones that help me keep going.
Totally. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Ooh, that's tough. I want to go everywhere. I think so. If everywhere was on the map, I'm going everywhere. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, we travel a lot, but I want to go to Spain. I want to go to Switzerland. Like, where else? I want to go to Africa. I would definitely want to go to Africa. Yeah, like those places. I done been a lot of places, but yeah, so kind of like everywhere.
I love that. What's something that always makes you laugh? Like if you, whatever that is, like if you're like, I need to laugh right now, like what's the thing that you go to?
I'm gonna probably turn on that 85 South podcast. That like if I'm like just chilling in my hotel room and I'm like, yo, what am I doing? I'll probably put on that, or I probably will call a friend that I know like right off the bat. When they pick up the phone, we're shooting jokes back and forth at each other and just talking smack. And so probably that, but yeah, other than that, like I find humor in some of the stuff I say. Yeah. So I might just sit back and laugh and be like, damn, I did say that. But
what's been one of the highlights of your career so far?
I think the highlight of my career definitely got to be NAHA. You know, because not too many people can achieve that award. And for me, people know me as a barber. But for me to win North American Hairstyling Award Educator of the Year, that means I have impacted more lives than what my haircuts have impacted. And I think so for me, that right there was like my career, like, damn, I did that. Like, I'm the best, what they say is the best in North America at this inspirational title. So I think career-wise, that. Then I got my clipper. Being the first artist to drop clippers with Andis, I think that's another groundbreaking thing to do something with a company that nobody's ever been able to achieve. Yep. So I think that and that.
That and that. Just, just like your own clipper and also a major award.
Yeah,
in the industry.
Nothing crazy.
That's like no big deal. Okay, well, do you have any other final messages for the people? Is there anything else? Like maybe some advice you'd give to someone watching this or listening?
You asked me one thing, and that question was the last one. What was my career, like, highlight? And I got one that's personal. And I think this is important for me to say because a lot of people don't understand the type of father I am. And my son, he's 16 right now, and I love all my kids equally, but I spend a lot of time with my son because he plays sports and all that. My daughter Jasmine's an esthetician now.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter Parker, she's 7, so she's doing what a 7-year-old does, everything.
And she's adorable.
Yeah, pretty little Parker. But I spend time with Jalen, and Jalen would always say, "Dad, I don't want to ever have kids. I don't want to ever have kids." And probably about 3 months ago, we were riding, and he looked at me. He said, "Hey, Dad, you know what? I changed my mind." He said, "I do want kids." He said, "The reason why is because I want to raise my kids the way you raised me." And to me, that trumps the NAHA award. That trumps the Clipper deal. That trumps everything because as a man, to inspire your kids the way I look at and how I inspire mine, I did my job. As a father, that's letting me know I did it and I'm continuously doing it to make that decision that he decided to make even better and stronger. So to me, that is like probably my ultimate highlight.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
It's really powerful. I love that. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, from that, like changing your kid's life, there's no easy segue here. But so as you know that I love Crocs and I wear them all the time.
She does.
All the time.
She got like Gucci Crocs. I'm like, how you get them? She got all the new stuff. I'm like, how you get them 2086 Crocs?
I'm just that good. So every guest that comes on the podcast gets a pair of Crocs.
I got a pair of Crocs.
Yes.
Don't make me cry, Paula, on camera.
Okay. But here's the thing, is I actually chose the Jibbitz as well for you because I feel like I know you well enough. So like, what would be Crocs without some decorations?
Yo. Look at these Crocs right here. Hey, me and Sebastian, we got the same Crocs, bro.
He's got, the Croc sandals.
Look at some dice.
You got some dice, because like, I feel like you're always willing to take a chance, but it's always like a calculated risk. You got your cell phone. So that is the first one I've seen that actually that cell phone moves. So like it closes. It's like a flip phone.
That's a Nextel. Y'all don't know nothing about no Nextels.
And then just some other thing. I know you got your big truck. You got a lot of love in your heart, lots of sunshine. So you got the rainbow, the Lakers, and also you need a little bling. So that's where you got the diamond.
Mm-hmm.
I know you love gummy candy.
Definitely.
So that's a little gummy bear.
That's when I'm meditating.
Yeah. Right, that part. Which brings us to the next one. The leaf.
Oh yeah, it's there.
But it's subtle. It's subtle. So it's not too. Yeah, it's like.
But it makes you feel this way.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
And then just like a star, because you're a star. PN, obviously, popular nobody. Football, because I know Jalen, that's been a huge part of your life, coaching and engaging. And then also a mixtape, because.
Music is life.
Yeah.
I always got music on. Man, thank you.
You're welcome.
This is dope right here. That's why you asked me, can I decorate them? Because, look, I've been telling Crocs, I don't know if you guys are aware, but Coke, y'all already had y'all turn. We're moving you out the way. But Croc, Paula always in them. And you see how she blessing us with Crocs too? She making us a part of the movement. So if y'all don't make her part of y'all movement, we going to have to talk again. I'm like her big brother, so Croc, y'all going to have to holler at me if y'all don't holler at her fast. Because she decorating the world with Crocs on this show. Yeah. Ooh. I'm walking through the airport on Sunday like a bad bitch. Thank you.
I love that you just equated wearing Crocs to being a bad bitch.
What?
I mean, I do. For sure. It's nice.
I see you walking in them.
Welcome to the family.
Yeah, they look comfortable. My damn feet be hurting that night.
Not me.
Yeah, watch.
You happy.
Ooh.
Feet.
Look how I scratch my head like a bad bitch. Yeah, we in this thing.
For real.
That's what people don't know about me. I'm super silly.
Silly all the time.
Yeah, I'm only serious. Never. Don't make me mad. Even when I'm mad, I'm silly. But But yeah, shout out to Croc.
And shout out to you, John Mosley, for being a bad bitch and such a good friend. I'm so happy that we got to have this conversation. I feel like we could literally be here all day and just talk about all the things, but thanks for what you shared, and thanks. What'd you say?
You know a lot.
It's true. We've seen some things.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity to come hang out. I appreciate the conversation, but more importantly, I appreciate you as a human. I appreciate you as a sister. I appreciate you as a leader. I appreciate everything that you do. It's not too many black women that get a position and get opportunities, and you do it with so much grace, and you do it with so much respect, and you do it to the point to where it should inspire and empower other black women to go after their goals, go after their dreams. Any young women that need somebody to follow, to look up to, that's doing it from in the trenches and outside of the trenches. I would direct you Paula away because she's going to continue to do it, and if she don't, I'm gonna get on her ass to continue to do it. So, I appreciate you, and I want to give you your flowers because you have been working, you have been putting that time, and you have been grinding, and to see you happy, to see you smiling, to see you just continue to push, it's freaking amazing. So keep being you, keep smiling, keep working, and whatever somebody else got to say about you, tell them to holler at me first.
I definitely will. that I will take you up on.
Yeah, come on.
Amazing. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. And if you like it, tell your friends. Tell somebody.
Tell Coke and Crocs.
Tell Coke and Crocs. To ask about me. All right, we'll see you guys next time.